Hello, this is Lucy Taylor, and I am presenting my work for Module 2.4, Sustainable Design Fundamentals. I've summarized the research and development performed in Modules 1.3 through 1.5 here into key points that continue to inform and define the conceptual design of my project. I've tried to refine the copious amounts of research into 4 to 5 key points per research focus. The module exploring residential types and typologies identified the pressing land use issues that this project needs to keep sight of. Likewise, the module where the history and culture of Los Angeles was studied helps to maintain the focus on the creation of community green space. The housing precedent study expands that emphasis of green space and pulls it into the housing units themselves. The community values identified and refined in Module 2.1 define the residents, broken down into 5 household types that fit the demographics of the study area. The resident profiles led to a preliminary study of the unit sizing and layout. My project emphases were further refined to articulate the specific uses that I aim to include in the building program, as well as the specific issues that I want to address with the program. In Module 2.2, Community Framework, the main emphases of equity, health, and culture were chosen as the 3 main frameworks through which to continue to develop the concept. The specific site developments and elements to include in order to achieve these goals are identified and broken down. Although we aren't producing a whole community development, this research has helped to imagine what type of community our project would best thrive in. In the module prior to this one, Module 2.3, Programming and Well-being, 3 potential building programs were developed, each with a different emphasis based on the community values emphases identified in Module 2.2. One program emphasized the inclusion of green space, one emphasized density, and one emphasized equity. Shown here is the green program. Each program has limitations and each has beneficial aspects. I aim to include elements of each in the developing design. My sustainable design proposal, drawing on the previous research and development, fits well with the AIA Sustainable Design Principles for the following 3 frameworks. And those are the design for equitable communities, the design for ecosystems, and the design for well-being. After reviewing the AIA principles for each, I found many strategies that align with the project emphases that my prior research narrowed down as important, particularly the principles for design for well-being. In lieu of another physical model, as I was having issues with producing enough detail at the 1/64th scale, I composited a refined green space program model into Lumion to test out a more precise scale and add planting elements to the massing to get a more realistic perspective of the building site in relation to the perspective of from the underneath of the bridge. Adding the scale trees and people and cars helped me judge and make decisions about the potential massing of the building. The rendering at the bottom left is of the planned park development that shares a boundary with our site. The composited model rendering is placed in relation to it and shows a proposal to continue the terracing and sloped landscaping of the park upwards towards the building itself. I intend to develop this concept further, where the ground level is sloped and terraced and actually raises and encompasses the ground floor of the building, creating a seamless transition from the park to the building. Projects referenced that inform the sustainable design plans are shown here. There is extensive revitalization efforts planned for the adjacent LA River. This creates a more sustainable and healthy green space, as well as a sustainable social and community serving space. These references are chosen as case studies of projects that successfully incorporate sustainable features such as green roofs and green walls in dense urban settings similar to our site. These two projects serve as inspiration for achieving high-density housing arranged in novel ways that create housing units that are more connected to outdoor space, yet less connected to each other, at least visually. I believe that these aspects, if executed well, can effectively address the sustainability challenges that focus on physical and mental well-being. The site's solar exposure was studied, shown here at 3 p.m. on the summer solstice, in order to help inform the massing. So the most advantageous orientation can be figured, and that would bring about sustainable strategies such as minimizing heat and maximizing ventilation. The site's winter solar exposure, shown here at 2 p.m. on the winter solstice, was studied in order to determine the massing that can support sustainable strategies such as maximizing daylight and maximizing views. This is my presentation. Thanks for listening.